Hey there folks, today we're going to talk about extended stop arms. Right here what you have is your standard Oem Stop Arm made by Specialty Manufacturing. This is not art. You can see it's a fine arm, 18 inches, sticks out from the school bus. If you're lucky you can see it from the back there if you're parked. Odds are no, you will not see this arm. If you're even 2 or 3, 4 cars back, you will not see this arm. And if you're coming up from the other direction, you're going to barely see this arm. It's not that visible. However, Bus Safety Solutions has created a patented solution to this. It's called the extended stop arm. Now we're going to go over and take a look at that technology. So our founder created this technology. It's called the extended stop arm. What we did is we took your little arm and we said, what can we do? Well, according to federal standards, you can actually have an arm as long as you want. In this case, we made one 6.5 feet long, standing out from the school bus. Amazing little tiny technology feat, but it meets federal standards completely. You can see that it holds firmly to the side of the bus. So if you're driving 50 miles down the highway, this thing does not flip off. We have 2 different types of power systems. The pneumatic system. This is great for states where they require pneumatic power. Additionally, if you're in states where they require electric power, we have electric options as well. Okay, let's talk about how this operates. This operates using the exact same buttons that are in your school bus now. Okay, so if you're driving down the road, you're not going to have to learn new buttons, or if you're switching from bus to bus, you don't have to learn new buttons. What you do have to do is concentrate a little bit more. You're going up to your stop. School bus drivers going up to their stop need to put on your yellows just like you normally should. Stop the bus completely. Look to make sure your traffic is not streaming by, and then once your traffic is completely stopped, then extend your arm. We'll show that in a second. How this works, how this is a better product, is if you've got people backed up behind you, they can see that your arm is out. They don't have to get, to a certain spot. They can see that your arm is out. Additionally, when you've got traffic coming from this direction, it's right in their space. So if they're drinking their cola, or if they're drinking their hot latte in the morning, or if they're just reading a newspaper, or sending selfies to grandma, whatever, they're going to have the stop arm directly in their way. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. We're going to kick out the arm so we can see that. Alright, as you can see with the arm extended, it is right in the middle of the driver's viewpoint. So when the driver is doing something they shouldn't be doing on the road, it is clearly right in front of their face. That is the key why this technology reduces stop arm violations by 90%. Basically, the only time you're going to have a stop arm violation is when somebody decides, I think I have enough space to get over here on the sidewalk to do this. Or you might have some stop arm violations where you got multi-lane roads. Unfortunately, we have not been able to figure out how to make a 35-foot long stop arm, but those would meet federal regulations as well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about using the stop arm. You see that the extended stop arm uses a special flash pattern that's more equivalent to what emergency vehicles use. This is legal with federal regulations as well, but you'll see that it flashes a little bit faster and a little bit different. Get more attention to the drivers who are potentially going to be hitting your kids that are getting off the bus. We want to make sure the most flash happens for these school buses. Okay, As you saw when that arm kicked out, it does take a little bit longer than what you're used to for your normal arm, because it's just longer. You're going to have to be paying attention. It goes in at about 3.5 seconds, comes out at about 3.5 seconds. The original OEM arm goes in at about 2 seconds, so you're probably used to just kicking that thing out. It does take a little bit longer, and you do need to make sure your arm is completely closed before you go and before you stop and let your kids out. So you want to make sure that the arm is completely out. Again, that's 3.5 seconds as opposed to the 2 before you start letting kids go across the road. One thing to pay attention to. When you're doing your checklist, of course you do want to make sure both sides of your lights are going here and going there, right? Normally you're doing that with your checklist. Another thing you want to just check is make sure your bolts are a little bit tight here. These bolts seem to be doing just fine. If your cable is disconnected, you will notice that because your lights will not be working here. You can also just briefly check and make sure you've got a cotter pin down here. This is where what holds the either pneumatic actuator, electric actuator, or pneumatic cylinder to the arm. And again, if your arm is out, it has done its purpose. So that's all you need to know. As a school bus driver, you'll be doing fine. So what happens if somebody hits your arm? Typically what's going to happen is they're going to bend it a little bit here, maybe they're going to ding it up, something like that. This typically does not result in some craziness that's going to cause you to have to, do something weird. People are going to do a hit and run, they're going to bend this sign, maybe they're going to break it off. If it does break off, or even if somebody hits it and damages it, you are going to need to call the office, get your mechanic out there. Typically you may have some damage over here where you'll see this is going to maybe break off at the pins, something like that. So you do need to get the mechanics out there. This is a legal part of your school bus. Just like the small sign, the big sign is no different. So if somebody hits this, it's the same as them hitting any other part of your bus. So this is, as long as you've been following your rules, you're good to go. This is not going to result in any infraction back on you just because they hit your long extended stop arm. Again, this meets all federal regulations for being a stop arm on a school bus. And if you got them on your bus, it's been approved by your state, either as a pilot project or fully approved on the school bus spec. So you're good to go. Don't be too afraid that what you're doing operating is against federal laws or state laws or anything like that. If you've got it on your bus, you're good to go. If somebody is driving by your bus and you've got your extended stop arm out, it's their fault. You've already put on your yellows, you've got your reds on. Why are they driving by and endangering your students? In some states, it is available to continue on your route if a mechanic takes your extended stop arm and because it's been hit and damaged for some reason, you might take your extended stop arm. You do still have the original stop arm, which should still work, and you may be able to continue on your route.